Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you haven't found my channel previously, my name's Anne and I'm a traveller. I travel full-time, sometimes in my van and sometimes overseas. Now this video is actually a second one on my trip in northern Queensland, Australia. So in my last video I showed you what it was like, the highlights travelling between Brisbane and Far North Queensland. And on this one, I return and I head back south along the coast of Queensland. So again, lots of interesting things to see and to share with you. So I hope you enjoy my video. Now this was actually a highlight that I did share in my last video, but this is a cassowary and it's chick. Now this is something very unique to Far North Queensland and very special to Australia, and I felt absolutely honoured to see these two just crossing the road. Now something else that I saw when I was camping up in the area called the Daintree was this lace monitor lizard. Oh, they're such fascinating and very old animals, and I never hesitate to film them and photograph them when I see them in the wild. A couple more days up in the area called the Daintree, I stayed at a national park campground called Noah's, and from here I could explore more of the heritage listed bushland, which has a lot of plants and trees that are not found anywhere else in Australia or in fact in the world. It was a lovely location. I could do lots of beach walks and really just relax and enjoy it. And here's a catbird, and lots and lots of nice sunrises and sunsets. So it's just a place that I think is treasured by Australians and overseas visitors who come here, and it's not far from the Great Barrier Reef. So I just stopped here and got a few little gifts for people. Where's the chooks are out. Got a nice little coffee area. It's a bit early for me to have another coffee and the day's a bit grey, but I'm going to carry on. I'm heading down towards getting that ferry again. Oh yeah, we've got the rooster too. So this is Alexandra Lookout. Unfortunately it's such a gloomy day, but I couldn't come in here when I was going up to the Daintree because of the roadworks. There's actually lots of roadworks, but never mind. We can imagine how beautiful it is out there. Well, here I am back on the ferry, crossing the river, back over to Mossman. Really enjoyed my couple of days in the Daintree. Yeah, definitely recommend it, even if you only have a two-wheel drive, definitely doable. And here we are, on the river and on the ferry. So like a lot of ferries in Australia, this one's a cable ferry. It just literally goes back and forth across the river. Not too far after crossing over the Daintree River is the Mossman Gorge. Now from there you can actually get an electric bus or you can walk. So I decided to walk into the Mossman Gorge rather than taking the electric bus. I just figured you see so much more. So as well as the paved walk around the Mossman Gorge, there's also a gravel track, which is much more to my liking, and it doesn't seem so popular, so I've got more chance here of seeing birds. So I've got my big camera, so fingers crossed I see some sort of wildlife. Yay, first suspension bridge on this trip. Got a lot of suspension bridges. I didn't actually end up seeing much in the way of bird life, but it was still a really pleasant couple of hours. I ended up spending, or walking I should say, about 10 kilometres from the visitor centre up the various paths and then a circuit loop. It was really pretty. Parts of it was quite busy, but yeah, definitely enough space to walk on my own and just enjoy the scenery. Definitely, if you're up that way, go to Mossman Gorge, and if you want to take the electric bus, they run regularly. This morning's walk is so different from yesterday when I was at Mossman Gorge. Today I'm at Emerald Creek Falls. Very dry and yeah, still cloudy, but it's very quiet here. Hardly anybody in the car park. So come on, let's go explore. There's the falls. And then coming down to the bottom of the falls, there were some perfect places for swimming. No, I don't normally jump into the creek and have a swim unless it's really hot. But it was just perfect, and there were actually quite a few people having a swim. So I found a really nice campsite for the night. This one is just out of Mareeba, which is up in the Atherton Tablelands, and it's a privately owned place, but it's only $10 a night, complete with shower and toilets. And look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Hopefully I can get some shots of some birds. So not only does this campground allow motorhomes and camper trailers and caravans, etc., they've also got some glamping going on. Peaceful night in the van at here Mareeba Bush Camp, and this is my view this morning. It was raining earlier, so I've just been sitting in bed editing, glanced up and look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I did a bit more wandering around in the morning and did get a few shots of the birds. They're not great, but yeah, it was just nice to get out and about and wander around with my camera and just enjoy the atmosphere. And then, yep, took off again. The weather was a bit grey, but it didn't detract from the scenery, and I do love driving around in the sugarcane. My next stop was at Haipipimi Volcanic Crater and Dinner Falls, and yeah, when I got out of the vehicle, look what was waiting to greet me. It was another cassowary, and I was so close. It was just amazing, and he wasn't perturbed by my being there, and I did spend absolutely ages filming him. Well, that was just super exciting seeing the cassowary, and I've just come to the something crater that I can't pronounce, and I just hopped out of the van and he was standing in the car park. Oh, so exciting. So anyways, it's a bit of a drizzly morning now. It was beautiful when I first got up in the campground, but it actually is not too bad going for a walk in this sort of weather. I've got my coat and everything, so I'm fine, but it really just adds to the atmosphere. So let's hope that it is as good as promised by the sign. Not quite as good as a suspension bridge, but at least it shows promise of a view, right? So this is a crater, and I will take a video of the sign because it explains it way better than I could. And yes, you might need to pause it to have a proper read. So another boardwalk walk. This one's to the curtain fig tree. So it stopped raining, yay. I can see it through those trees. It's huge. Wow, look at that. That's enormous. Well, I've just checked into another campground. Yeah, haven't been doing the free camping so much lately, but this one's called Benadio, and they've promised me that I'll see platypus, so fingers crossed they're not wrong. But they've got this little nature walk, and that's what I'm doing now. Let me show you. It's really nicely done, and it goes along the river. So let's go check it out, see if we can find those platypus. So I was looking for platypus and I saw something swimming, but no, it's a turtle. Then yay, I saw the platypus. They're really quick, so you've got to film when you can. Now, my mission today is to see a tree kangaroo. Yeah, like, I'm not kidding. There's kangaroos who go in trees. Let me just show you the sign that says I'm not kidding. Okay, so it's not late afternoon and it's not raining. I should have actually come here yesterday. Oh well, fingers crossed I might see one. And I'm just outside Yungaburra, which is a really sweet little town, and I just went and spent a while in a really nice store and got some really nice produce that I'm going to share with friends and family. So yes, there is a tree kangaroo there, but unfortunately I think he's asleep. Down a different track, and yay, there they were. They were so sweet and I was so excited, and yeah, I could actually share the moment with some other people, so that was really nice. My next highlight was this little copper ringtail possum. Now, I'd never seen one of them before either. Something else spectacular was over one of the dams at Quinola was these cattle egrets. Now, they swooped and they danced for, a good 15-20 minutes. They were just beautiful, and the light kept catching them as it got darker and darker. I had lots of footage, so I really had to trim it back. So I hope you appreciate it like I did. I've just set up camp at Henrietta Creek, which is another national park campsite, and I've just taken a little walk down to this waterhole. It's so beautiful. You are supposed to be able to walk across the river and to a day use area, but I'll show you the river because I don't think I'm going to cross it, and I can't see any sign of the creek or the track on the other side, but I'll show you anyway. Isn't this just beautiful? If it was a really hot day, I'd be tempted to have a swim. It's so clear. And that would be the creek crossing, but as you can see, there's no sign of a track over there. So I think I'll go back and do another walk on the other side of the campground. So just for a change, I'm doing something commercial. So I'm at a place called Paranella Park, and I'll show it to you as I go around. I'll also put a link to their site, so if you want more information, you can click on that. Quite cool, this area. It's a bamboo forest. And these are called the Mina Falls. So they're within the Paranella Park. And there is a suspension bridge above it, but that's actually owned by the council, and it's out of bounds at the moment because it needs repairing. It's a bit of a shame because you all know how I love suspension bridges, right? And this is the start of our light show. Now, I took a photo of this ball earlier. It just didn't look anything compared with what it is now.
Not a bad one. Very hot one.
been inland, but now it was time to head back to the coast, and my first stop was Mission Beach. What a pretty place that is, and very popular. I found this great little walk. It went along parallel to the beach and took me all the way down to the little township. Unfortunately, when I was in Mission Beach, they were doing a lot of street repairs, so I won't show you the town. Well, that only took me like 2 minutes to get to here. Isn't that stunning? Well, I'm always looking for new experiences, and I spotted this as I was doing that little track walk. I don't know whether I'm actually young enough to do this. That's the trouble when you're travelling and you're in your mid-60s, well, late 60s actually. So definitely worth a diversion off the Bruce Highway to come out to Mission Beach. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Of course, the day's gorgeous, but couldn't be better to walk along this beautiful beach. Just coming along the highway here south of Mission Beach. It's all this fire right up on that hill. Don't know what it is, but it's such beautiful countryside here. Really the perfect time of the year to be travelling. So I've just stopped for a stretch my legs, heading south, and I stopped at Cardwell. On my way north it was wet and drizzly and quite cold when I was there, and look at it now, it's just beautiful. So yeah, I'm starting to think I'll have to come north again and really spend some time exploring, but now I'm on a deadline, so I can't dilly-dally too much. So there's more than just a few islands off this part of the coast of North Queensland, and I think it would be wonderful to go sailing here. I mean, look at all the islands around there, around this side. Yeah, that's something I really want to do. I was travelling recently with someone, Natalie, you might be watching this, who actually worked on longboats, and I thought, wow, that would be so cool to do. So tonight I'm camping at the Taito Wetlands, which is in Ingham, and that's what's behind me here. So I'll just show you. I've just come up in a tower, which I'll video when I get down to the bottom. Now you can't actually see my van here because it's right on the other side of the wetlands, but really nice spot to stop. And it's actually bordered by the art gallery and library and community buildings. Really impressive complex actually. And there's the town just behind there. It's stunning. This is at Taito at Ingham. From Ingham I decided to head inland. Well, it was just an overnight trip inland, but I will share some of the scenes with you here. Well, I had a really nice peaceful night at Ingham next to the Taito Wetlands. It was just beautiful. And this morning I took the covering off my side window and again just lay in bed enjoying the view. But let me show you, I'm on my way to Wellerman Falls and the road has been like this all the way up and almost one lane. That's why not suitable for trailers or caravans. Thank goodness I just have the van. But the view from here, the lookout is spectacular. It's so expansive. I might just zoom in and take you back again. Look at that. Stunning. Well, this is such a beautiful area, and I'm going to attempt to walk to the bottom of the falls. It's 2 kilometres each way, but as you can imagine, very steep going all the way down there. So we'll see how we go. But other than that, it's just beautiful and the day is gorgeous. Nice cool breeze. So I did make it down to the falls. It was fairly easy most of the way. A couple of rocks, a little bit stumbly, but walking up, super steep. But look at these falls, aren't they just amazing? Like that rainbow, oh, so beautiful. And I've seen lots of falls on this trip, you know, all up in the Atherton Tablelands. But this just surpassed, and it is actually the highest single drop fall in all of Australia. So definitely worth going and having a look. Here I zoom in with my camera. No, I don't have a drone. It's just mainly my iPhone and occasionally my camera for all my photographs here. From the waterfalls is just a short drive to the National Park campground. So I set up the van there, got a nice spot, and then took a walk. It was just really nice to camp there. There was a couple of different walks and there was also a swimming hole. And then it was back to the coast again. This is actually looking over Townsville. Now, Townsville is a much bigger city than I remembered. I actually drove up Castle Rock and got these views. It was huge. Now, I don't know what there is actually to do in Townsville itself. I was going to head across to Magnetic Island, but timed it right with the ferries. So that's on the list for next time when I come north. But yeah, it was great to drive up and get these good views. My next coastal stop was the town of Bowen. Now, everyone says, oh, Bowen's lovely and it's worth going to. And yeah, it is lovely. It's really pretty. But unfortunately, there's no low-cost camping there. And also, all the caravan parks were fully booked. Not surprising, really. It was school holidays. And the time I was travelling in Far North Queensland was actually the time that a lot of grey nomads come up from Victoria and southern New South Wales. So this is the walk I did. It's actually called the Rotary Lookout Walk, past many bays and beaches and a few rock views. And yeah, there's the rock. It's just a really nice walk, and I could do a loop from where I parked the van down some tracks and back around. It took me probably an hour and a half. Wow, just filled up here at Peter Force Dam, or it's also called Proserpine Lake. Just going to stay here a couple of nights. Look at that black sky, but nothing on the radar, so fingers crossed. But I am very close to the water. I'll spin you around. I've got a couple of caravans near me, but there I am there. Nothing in between me and the water. Fingers crossed that no one pulls in this gap where I'm standing. So I'm out here trying to do yoga and I keep getting distracted by this beautiful sunset. Oh, it's just gorgeous. There's the Peter Force Dam on Lake Proserpine. Very full at the moment. 95%, I think I heard someone say. The mornings here at Lake Proserpine were just as beautiful as the evenings, and it was really nice to get up a little bit earlier than perhaps normal and just do a little bit of videoing. So after my 2 beautiful nights at Lake Proserpine, I head back to the Bruce Highway and continue south. Now my next stop is actually somewhere that I stopped on the way up. So if you haven't seen my previous video, go back and take a look, because here I am. So back at Carmilla Beach. The weather's a bit better so far than what it was last time I was here, which was I think 5 weeks ago. But look at the sea mist that's coming in over the river. It's a bit weird. I must go down to the beach and check that out too. Wow, this is so different. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon and this is sea mist. It's just bizarre. It'll be interesting to see whether it lifts. So that's my little site there at Carmilla Beach. Yeah, the tide's in, which makes it look really nice here. And it's a beautiful view out my window. There's the steps just behind the van that I go down to the beach. It's wonderful. So if you're Australian, you would know that these are tawny frogmouth owls. And I had walked past these guys numerous times and I didn't even know they were there. A very nice gentleman just pointed them out to me. Aren't they cute? Now some towns are really generous to travellers, and Rockhampton is one of these towns. Now they put in a free camp right beside these beautiful gardens and you can stay there for 2 days. I have been wandering around Rockhampton for the last couple of hours. It's a really interesting city and one I've passed through many times but never stopped. And I will include the amazing photos of the brilliant old buildings that have all been beautifully maintained / restored. And I'm currently in the art gallery. It's not very big and part of it's closed at the moment for a new exhibition. So I'm just north of Calliope and it's hard to believe this used to be the A1 highway. Yep, this is the Bruce Highway in bygone years. You can imagine just how many times it would flood. I think this is just a perfect place to end this video. I had a few more stops on my way back to my base in Brisbane, spending time with some friends and some family, which was wonderful. So I really enjoyed my trip up north. I did nearly 5,000 kilometres and yeah, I'll be going back up there. So thanks for sticking around to the end, and until next time, bye for now.